Howdy folks, hope y'all doing well. We doing good here. Work been just a tad slow. The weather been holding us up a little bit, but the last few mornings it's been froze, so we've been getting right at it. Today I want to do a square filing video. I'm not a professional or anything like that. I've just done it for a couple years, and I guess about middle of 2011 is when I started doing it. I had nobody to show me. I knew it was out there. I heard about it, but the two old guys I was working with, they was old loggers, and I talked to them about it, and they was like, nah, you can't do nothing like that. But they hadn't heard about it, so I was determined to have my own experience. I got to looking around. I found some files, and I bought a couple and started playing with them. It's a pretty rough road there from the start. It's I didn't know nothing about it. Didn't know what it was supposed to look like, but I guess about a year, 2 years into it, I found a spec sheet for race chain, and I downloaded that, and that's kind of when I really got to knowing what it's supposed to look like and all that. So yeah, it's been fun. And yes, I used this square grind hand filing. I've used it in any kind of hardwoods that's out there, I guess. We got just about any kind of hardwood there is. There have been some comments here and there saying that the square file is no good in hardwoods. It don't stay sharp and all that, but for what it's worth, I haven't really talked to a whole lot of people about this, but on this job here up on the high ground, nice clean stuff, probably 50% of it was poplar. I run for 4 days without touching my chain, and that ain't no joke. I didn't believe it myself. Yeah, by the 4th day it was needing some attention. But I cut for 4 days with this square file. Never touched my chain. But anyway, I'm gonna get started here. And the reason I'm doing it out here in the woods, I was gonna do it at home in the garage the other day, and I got to thinking maybe it'd be better if I done it out here in the woods. There's some people commented that it's too hard to do, you can't do it out in the woods or whatever, but of course I got a little helper here to help me, but I'll just show you that here. Let me take you down a little bit. Here's my stump vise that I built a couple years ago. It's just got a tree stand screw part of a tree stand step on it. It had the prongs, but with this way here, you can pretty much turn it in by hand, and you can position your saw in any angle that you want. It's a little log, you get you a nice seat. Maybe I won't knock you guys over back there. You just turn your little thumb screw in. Now I'm going to turn this sideways. And I hope I got you where you could see. Yeah, you can see that. Alright, this is how I go about sharpening from the top down. Let me find I always have one starter tooth. Right there it is. I file a little bit in front of the raker so I can tell which one it is. You don't have to do that. That's just the way I do it. Bring it over to the middle of the screen where you can see it a little better. This is my file handle, and the reason I use these balls is I can hold this file in any angle. My handle, the feel of my handle does not change. So when I first set my file in there, I get it right, then I'll lock my hand on the file for that tooth right there. My feel of my handle stays the same. I lock it in, and that's why I like these golf balls for handles. You can turn your file in any angle and just lock it in. And for those of you who've been wondering, these, let me let it focus there. Let's see if I can get it to focus in. Those are the files that I've been using since I first started. Vallarbe is V-A-L-L-O-R-B-E, Swiss made. Those are the files, and as you notice, the grain goes straight across. These are the best that I have found. I've used a couple different brands of the angle cut ones, and I like these the best. Alright, let's see if we can do something for you here. You just kind of figure out what your angle is. I don't always get too particular about it, but if you notice how my file sits in there, the worst problem I have is right here, is keeping that corner right in the right place and tilting your file the right way this way. See, you know, the more you tilt it one way or the other, that's going to make a difference in your cut. But my problem is, my biggest problem is when I stand over top of this and looking down from the top, my keeping my file at the right place there, my line of vision from the top down, that is actually not right. It's a little bit past, but there again, experience, you just got to experience it and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you do a few strokes, and you look underneath and see what it's doing, and then you can adjust from there. But I'm gonna file a couple of them, then I'll show you what they look like. One hand, just very light pressure. That one's got just a tiny side beak. I gotta hold my file up a little higher in the back end than what it actually looks like visually. Let me file another one. Make sure you can see that. And mine are not perfect by any means, as far as, you know, the angle being exactly the same from one tooth to the next. I try to keep them as close as I can visually, but there again, hand filing is, it's nothing precise, you know, it's just I always file one tooth and kind of inspect it. But I'm going to show you that one. That one's about as good as any. That is what it looks like. And if you look right there, you can see the there it is. If you see there, it's got a tiny side beak. That side beak, or is it a top beak, whatever you want to call it. But if you can see, all right, give me a, if you look, just focus in again. If you look right there, right at the top, right there, there's that little side beak right there. That don't hurt. I actually kind of like them just a little bit. And if you look, the corner, the inside corner is about where it needs to be. I tend to ride up a little higher. What I mean is this back corner here, where that comes down right there, I tend to ride up a little high, but you just raise the back of your file up a little bit. But that inside corner, don't don't matter as much. Your outside, your cutting edge is what needs to be pretty close right. The other thing I do is, you can see right here it looks round right there. I do that with a round file, and me and Buchan had this discussion. I don't think it makes a difference, because I have always took mine out. I don't know why, it's just what I've always done. Buchan says it makes no difference, and I can see what he's talking about. You know, it shouldn't make any difference in the cutting, but he's going to do a side-by-side video too, so you'll be able to kind of see that, you know, leaving it in. I've always just took the gullet out. What I mean is this part right here, because as you can tell, the file don't cut as far down as what a round file would. I've always just took it out. You know, every 3 or 4 filings I'll take it out, but it's not that you have to. But that's what it looks like. But there's a visual on the side from what my side plate angle is right there. If you can kind of see that. My top plate angles are not all exactly precisely the same, but that's about I try to somewhat run with the guideline in the back there. But yeah, there's that crazy old muffler that I built for this thing. It really helps. That muffler's perfect for this saw. I'll do a little bit more filing for you so you can see. I should show you how I hold my hand. It's just kind of a light upward pressure. It's not much. Get this thing positioned again. And I'm not taking off much at all. It takes off a little at a time. I might have went too far for you there. Now the other side, when I file the other side, I go at it just a tad different. But there again, you just get a file and you start doing it and you kind of figure out what works. I'm gonna go further out, because here is how I file the other side. I grab a hold of it with my left hand, and I have my right hand on the ball just like I had, and I come down from the other direction. Light, smooth strokes. You don't want to, if you have too much up pressure, it tends to catch and jump around. You just kind of get your angle figured out. In fact, if you use a round file, if you take a round file and just file that like you was going to sharpen it, it actually kind of sets the angle for this file to set, you know, to set right in there. But this is how I sharpen my saw in the woods. Most times I sharpen it at home at night, so you actually don't have to. Most days I don't have to. I didn't do it last night at home because I got home too late, and I hit some dirt on that last tree yesterday. I seen some sparks fly, so I had to hit a rock or something in there too. We got a lot of rock in this woods right here. So if I get right after it, I can sharpen this chain here in the woods in probably about 10 minutes. Which I got plenty of time to, as far as the drag guy, trying to keep up. So anyway, fellas, all right, hopefully this is helpful. If you have any ideas, any questions, be sure to put it in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank y'all. Love and be kind.